This unassuming red-roofed building in the outskirts of Beijing could pass for a holiday camp in most countries. Online, its website even boasts about its idyllic environment, complete with fountains, ponds and flowers. But behind these walls, a different sort of residential experience is being offered. In this so-called Beijing Dispatch Facility for Re-Education through Labour personnel, the police locks up small offenders and other people who are making trouble. Zhang Shufen still bursts into tears every time she remembers her ordeal in the camp, where she was kept in solitary confinement. Mrs. Zhang, a 48-year-old woman who looks at least 10 years older following 2 one-year stints in the camp, is just one of about 160,000 people kept in such facilities at any given time, according to official figures. The ruling Communist Party started using the so-called re-education through labour system in the 1950s to lock away political enemies. The system, just based on administrative orders, allows police to imprison people for up to 4 years without trial. It has therefore become a symbol for the hollowing out of China's legal system by an ever more powerful security apparatus.
And so this is a rotten system, and this is a system that is unfixable. It's used by the police to warehouse all sorts of people that they should not be detaining, and that they actually often cannot detain under the criminal law, but that they find convenient to put in labor camp because they control the system.
Mrs. Zhang ended up in the camp because she petitioned political leaders to punish a teacher who had her husband beaten to a cripple after he protested the beating of her 6-year-old daughter. Wang Yongcheng suffered similar injustice. The former peasant says village officials confiscated his ancestral home and land for what they said would be an afforestation project, but then used it to build and sell villas and a golf course instead. So he went to protest at the gates of Zhongnanhai, the compound where China's leadership lives and works.
所以说我们去中南海去下跪，下跪的时候后来就把我们拉回这个派出所，把我们这个劳教送到拘留所，跟我们劳教了1年。
Now, people like Mr. Wang and Ms. Zhang are putting their hopes in Zhongnanhai again. For Xi Jinping, the man who took over as Communist Party chief in November and is due to become president next month, has indicated that the new leadership wants to reform or even abolish re-education through labour.
Well, I think it's hugely significant that the first major legal reform that we hear about since Xi Jinping took over the reign of power is the abolition of re-education through labour. Wants to signal that he's not afraid of doing a number of things that Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao, his predecessor, were afraid of doing. Is to take on the power, the unchecked power of the security apparatus, the public security and all its satellites that have really ballooned under Hu and Wen.
Xu Zhiyong, a lawyer who has long campaigned against black jails, warns that the Chinese state is likely to continue to detain people illegally, even after an abolition of re-education through labour.
我想民主和法治是不可分割的。中国要想实现真正的完全的法治，可能是需要民主也同时健全的时候，所以短期内可能看不到这种迹象，这种希望啊。
What happens with labour camps like this is a big test. Can Xi Jinping dismantle China's police state and build up rule of law instead? Catherine Hiller, Financial Times, Beijing.